Okay. Um, Hello, everybody, and good evening. So, uh, this is going to be the topic tonight is don't let your mind bully you, but it's just a lot that I want to kind of talk about. So, I hope everybody is coming in. I'm sorry for my poor camera quality. Right now I am on another computer. My computer is fixed. However, there was no one at the IT department when they delivered it back to my job, and so I'm still without it for now. But if I let me just tell you, this last, few weeks has just been uh, just really crazy. And and so normally I do this live on both Facebook and Instagram, but as I was trying to go live on Instagram, it is saying that I can no longer do lives on Instagram because I don't have 1,000 followers. So I need y'all to get my followers up. I think I'm only, I don't know, maybe 30 or 40 short of 1,000 followers. But it's really crazy. And so what I'm going to have to do for the Instagram folks is just I will just share this as a post to Instagram. They'll just get it later, just like the people who watch it on YouTube. So I won't use the expression more than one way to skin a cat because I don't, for the cat lovers out there, which I'm not one, but you know, that just sounds, I don't like the way that sounds. Anyway, anywho, I want to first of all, I apologize for being away for a few weeks. One week I just wasn't feeling it mentally. And also I didn't have my computer, and when you kind of get when you're not technologically savvy, it's kind of like once you get set with kind of how things are set up on your computer, you're used to that. So having to use somebody else's computer, the settings are different. I had to, my what it was normally is just a straightforward kind of thing is no longer straightforward. And so last week I didn't do it because I didn't have my computer, and um, it was just a lot going on. And so I had to do it this week, right? And I thought for sure this week I'd have my computer back. But guess what? I don't. So here's the lesson though. Sometimes things happen that are out of your control. And when those things happen, you just kind of have to do whatever you're in control of. So, and I'm also realizing now that I forgot my glasses, which are in another room. So it's there's been that kind of a like it's been like this is little, but like it's been all kind of back to back things. Like my husband and I, we've had like several appliances in our home, like back to back, like go out, like not inexpensive fixes, right? Just my car is down, so we're down to one car. Like it's just been a lot of like little things like that, back to back to back. That's just been like, come on, like cut us a break, right? Has anybody ever gotten in that mode of, man, can we just get a break? So um I believe though that God always provides. And so as a woman of God that I am, and as this, one who believes God for everything, I believe him for all these things too. Um, so I've been really, I've just been it's just been an interesting couple of weeks, and I've been in a variety of headspaces. And so tonight, the topic is, don't let your mind bully you. And what I mean by that is, we really can have some measure of control over our minds. And the way that we are able to do that is we have control over what we allow to take up residence, to take up space in our minds. And so I think a lot of times we allow our minds to bully us. And what is a bully? A bully is is usually a person who is maybe bigger and stronger. Most bullies won't go toe to toe with somebody of their own stature. Bullies are really weak people who pick on people who are smaller or maybe more timid, and they take advantage of those those characteristics in a person. I won't call them weaknesses, but I will call them personality traits or characteristics. So bullies really are weak people who, if whenever if you like step to a bully, usually they back down. And so when you allow your mind to bully you, what that means is you allow things in your mind that should not be taking up residence in your mind to take control, to over to be stronger than those thoughts that should be there and that could be actually helpful to you. When you allow your mind to bully you, you sort of you take those negative messages in, and then you play them on a loop, and then thus you allow those thought processes to sort of take control of you, to take control of how you feel about yourself, take control of how you navigate life, take control over how you relate to other people, relationships that you're in, whether it be family or romantic or friendship, whatever the relationship might be. You allow toxic thoughts to dominate you. And so there comes a time, everything starts in the mind, and everything starts with a decision. And when you get sick and tired of allowing negative thoughts to sort of take over and take complete control, you will get to a point where you just say, you know what, enough, enough. I'm not going to let this get me. I'm not going to let this wipe me out. I'm not going to let this get me down. I'm going to stand toe to toe. And yes, in a fight, in any kind of fight, you're going to sustain some blows, right? You're going to sustain maybe some bruises, maybe some scratches. Um, but as long as you don't give up, and as long as you don't faint or get knocked out, you're still standing for the count. And so that's my encouragement for tonight. I honestly didn't come tonight with sort of a prepared topic, because I have just been in, like I said earlier, just a variety of different kinds of mental states, honestly, over these last few weeks. And my pastor, who, as you know, is also my husband, has been on. He just ended a sermon series called I am coming out of this. And this can be a multiplicity of things, right? I don't know what your this is, but I feel like I have been having a lot of thises in these last few weeks. And um I got to a place, I'm at a place really where I can say to myself, okay, either I can allow um, these things that are out of my control to keep me down, to knock me down, to knock me out. I could allow that, but I have to intentionally make the choice to fight back. And so I'm at a place where I know that I gotta fight back. It's like I gotta fight back. So how do I fight? When I'm talking about fighting, I'm not talking about picking up a gun or a knife or something to fight with. Uh, I understand from my faith, my Christian faith, that the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but they are mighty in God for the pulling down of strongholds. And so I can either allow myself to stay in a mental and spiritual pit, or I can take the weapons that I have and use them. And what I've come to understand is I have a toolkit filled with weapons to fight um, these battles that occur in the mind. And but the problem is you can have a toolkit full of all kinds of tools. But if you, one, don't use them, or two, have not taken the time to learn to educate yourself on the proper uses of those tools, then they're just tools in a box, right? And so when we're talking about fighting the bully, that not allowing your mind to bully you, we're talking about not wrenches and hammers and nails and all that kind of stuff in the toolkit, but we're talking about a variety of other kinds of things. So one of the main tool that I have is my faith, and so prayer is my number one tool. It is because I know that I can go to God, and I talk to God like I don't, I'm not one. Well, when I'm doing public prayer, that's a little bit different, a little bit. But in my private prayer life, I just kind of talk to God like I'm talking right now, and I just give him everything, like things that might seem to be little things, but they are things that are mentally messing with me. I talk to him about all of it, and I talk to him about it like he's my daddy, because he's Abba, right? He's my father, and I talk to him like, listen, Dad, I don't know what's up with this. Like, why is this happening? And why, what do you want me to do with this? What do you want me to learn from this? And all that sort of thing. So I'm able to approach my Lord just authentically and in my own way. And I'm able to get through prayer. And so that prayer is a big part of my toolkit. Another big part of my toolkit is journaling. So things that I find hard to articulate, I write it down. Like to articulate verbally, sometimes I have to write things down. And just it is a way of getting things out and just, getting out my thoughts, and then learning what to kind of do with those thoughts. Once I get them down, it's like it feels like it frees up my mind with space to then refill it with something that's going to build me up and that's going to help me to be in a better space mentally. Another thing in another weapon in my toolkit um, is walking, taking a walk, exercising. So those are two tools in my toolkit that I have not picked up lately, and I'm going to be very honest with that. And I know that during the time that I was being intentional in daily getting some kind of movement and exercise in every day, I felt much better. My mind was freer and clearer in thinking. And so I know that that is a tool that I need to pick back up. Um, Spending time with my grandchildren is one of the greatest tools in my toolkit. Now, everybody might not have grandkids, but you might have another family member, or you might have friends, or you might have somebody in your village that spending some time with them, spending quality time with them just gives you life. Now, we can also have people in our lives that kind of suck the life out of us. So that's not what you don't want to put spending time with them necessarily in your toolkit. You want to be there for them, but you don't want to like spending, a lot of time. Sometimes if somebody is sucking life out of you, it's not what you need in your toolkit when your mind is bullying you, is taking over in a negative way. And so what we have to do is convert our minds from being that bully to being to being that friend, to being that caring person, that loving person. Bullies are typically people who I think maybe didn't get a lot of love, and so they're mad. They take their anger and frustration out on people who are smaller and weaker than they are physically. Um, and so we have to be the ones that mold and shape how we think. So what are we taking in? So listening to good music is a tool in the toolkit. And I would be honest, I listen to all kinds of music. I listen to all lots of different genres of music. Um, but music that is uplifting and is just fun to listen to, or it could be music with a good, just a positive message in it. Keep on moving, don't stop, soul to soul. It could be a variety of things. It could be gospel. I Trust in God is a song that our choir sings a lot, all the time, because it is one of those songs that's just like when you sing it or hear it, it's just like it grips your soul, like, and it makes you wake up. It wakes up your mind when your mind is bullying you. You say, wait a minute, hold up, wait, I trust in a God who has control over this. So why am I giving you all this? Why am I letting other things come in that messes up the thought process that I trust in God, right? My Savior, the one who will never fail. And so just giving our minds the messages that our minds need is a big, big tool in the toolkit. And there are a variety of ways that you might do it. There are a variety of settings that might be more beneficial. My husband and I um, was able to go down to Ocean City, New Jersey, which we live, I mean, like maybe a 45-minute drive, right? If there's no traffic, it's 45 minutes tops. And so we always talk about how it doesn't make sense that we live so close to the shore and we never make our way there. We rarely get down there. But we were able to go and do what we love to do, go and walk the boardwalk, and then we'll just kind of sit and look out at the ocean, and we have great conversations just about life and where we are and our goals and ministry and a variety of things that we just, we're able to just kind of talk about, and it's just so freeing. Um, and then we usually don't leave without stopping at our favorite fudge shop on the boardwalk. Usually I'll get like a little small piece of fudge, which I kind of eat off of for several days because it's so rich. I can just eat one little piece and I'm good if I have a chocolate fit. But last night I decided to get some pretzels covered in dark chocolate, which are really good. I didn't eat all of them. I still have some left. Um, but just those little things that really mean a lot in terms of being able to just unleash those negative things and sort of get those out and replace them with positive thoughts. But the key, as I've said so many times before, is intentionality. If you don't have intentionality, if you are not intentional about taking the steps that you need in order to have a better mindset, then it's not going to happen. It doesn't happen just by happenstance. Um, Another tool in my toolkit is therapy. I'm happy that I found a therapist that I really like. And then she sends me tools. Well, there are lots of times that she has sent me things and I haven't, I've seen the email come through, but I haven't even opened it and used the tools. That doesn't help. So I have to be intentional about using the tools that she sent me. Some deep breathing exercises and just different activities to be intentional about minding my mental and being intentional about doing it every day. Like taking some time out of a day, whether it's at the beginning of the day or at the end of the day or in the middle of the day, wherever it is, to do something specifically that gives you life. One of the things is, gratitude. You hear that, I'm sure you hear that on a lot of different platforms all the time about the importance um, of gratitude. And so taking time to sit down and like write down three things that you're grateful for in that moment. Um, because we are grateful for different things at different points in time. And so in that moment, what are you grateful for? Um, and so there are lots of tools. I think I don't think I know for sure there is a whole episode on tools, right? On the toolkit, Mind the Mental Toolkit. It's or one of the very, very early on ones. But yeah, go to my YouTube page. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Even if you don't really watch it on YouTube, go subscribe to the channel, please. That would be helpful. But all of the previous episodes are up there, and I'm sure that there's something that can resonate, that might resonate with you. But tonight I'm really just kind of speaking from my heart and hoping that everybody is doing well. And for those of you that have been facing some situations out of your control, but that are like back to back to back, and it's just like enough already. If you're in that place, know that you're not alone. Know that you're not alone. I'm right there with you. Another tool in the toolkit is to smile. Just smile. Just look in the mirror and smile on purpose, even if it's fake. It starts out as a fake smile. It will ultimately, become a real smile, or even laughter. I did an episode about laughter, the importance of laughter in minding the mental. and how, it's been scientifically proven that, laughter releases, those endorphins that really help to get your mind to stimulate your mind in a positive direction. So, so there are lots of little things that you can do, that we can do, but we have to be intentional in doing them. And but know that that you can have this toolkit in of things that you can use when you're in situations where you just feel almost like you're just getting over your head in some things. You know, there is also a collective, there's been like some collective grief, with the death of Malcolm Jamal Warner last Monday was really, or Tuesday, I can't remember which day. But it was a shocker to a lot of people, and for a lot of us who grew up on the Cosby Show and A Different World, but mainly the Cosby Show, like he's like a brother to us. It's like we felt like we knew him, even though we didn't know Malcolm, but we knew Theo. And I know he was sort of trying to divorce himself from that character and let people get to know who Malcolm was. But I lift up my prayers for his wife and his daughter and his family, his parents, his castmates. I mean, just everybody. But it was another one of those sort of collective grief moments in the community. And so there's so many things that's been going on that's, I think, impacting us collectively. The things that are going on in the government, that's really impacting everybody. It starts with people who have lesser means, um, and then it is kind of spirals to everybody else. So if some of the stuff hasn't hit your doorstep yet, it's like we know it's coming, and so we have to be mentally stable to deal with some of this nonsense and evil, that is happening in the world, but in our country, in the United States in particular, because often we have been the lead in a lot of the things across the world. So people take the lead from us, and when we perpetuate evil, unfortunately, it's perpetuated throughout the world. So, and evil is everywhere. We know that, but we just have to be prepared. And we definitely have to, we can't wait until something happens to pack our toolkit. We have to be proactive, in preparing ourselves mentally to withstand some of the things that we might be faced with, coming down the road. Um, so with that, I want to encourage everyone, to be involved, um, in your local, um, politics, your local elections, your school boards, the Supreme Court, in your state. Make sure you're participating in all of those elections, because the local elections tend to feed the federal level. And so we have to be, I mean, we really have to be intentional to not only get ourselves out and involved in the process, but we got to pull our family members, the ones who don't think it makes a difference and all of that, by hook or crook. We need to get them out and and participating in the process and understanding the power of the vote. And so all of these things have been impacting us. And when we have so many, um, just different life challenges and things that are coming at us all at once, it can really do a number on us, and it can really it cause our minds to take control, but in a negative way. But we have to understand that we have control over that. But we can't wait until the things start happening to recognize the control that we have. We must do so proactively. We must pack our toolkit. Um, just like if you're a homeowner, hopefully you have a toolkit, because you just never know, what might break down, and the things that you can fix, that you might need, a hammer, you might need a wrench, oh, you might need some pliers, whatever the case might be. And you don't want to wait until, something happens and it's midnight, and there's no stores open, and you can't go out and get the tools that you need, and you're stuck. You have to pack your tools, and you got to keep them with you. You got to keep that. Everybody should have what is that called, a kit with the band-aids and all that kind of stuff, first aid kit. You should have a first aid kit, because you just never know when you might get a bad scratch or something, and you need a band-aid, and you need some ointment so it doesn't get infected. You don't wait until you get the scratch. You just have it available, so that in the case, hopefully it won't happen, but in the case that it does, you have it ready, right? It's the same thing with our minds. We have to proactively mind the mental. And so that's my encouragement for tonight. Don't let your mind bully you. Take control of the messages that you take into your mind. Take control of your rest, getting good rest, and being intentional about it. Take control of exercising. Take control of reading, becoming knowledgeable about something that you're interested in. Take control of taking a walk, journaling, just whatever the thing is, therapy, whatever it is that will help you in your journey, the things that you know what you need in your toolkit. I know what I need in my toolkit. I know what works for me, but you are the only one who knows what works in your toolkit. And so be mindful of those things. Do a check every once in a while. If you have a first aid kit, you got to go check it every once in a while to make sure. You got to keep it filled up, right? If you're out of something, you got to replace it, so that you'll have it when you need it. So, do that check that self check. All right, let me make sure I got my toolkit ready. And so when those times come where you might experience some anxiety or something like that you weren't expecting, then you have your deep breathing exercises in the pocket. You have, that's like your quick, that's like I have asthma, so the albuterol pump, that's for, like, if you need immediate relief, that's one tool for some relief, but that's not something to sustain necessarily, right? That might help you until you get to your next therapy appointment. So your deep breathing, make sure you got your journal. I have like a Ziploc bag full of different journals. I have a few different journals with different things that I keep, and I keep them beside my bed usually. Um, and so they're readily available. So I hope that this has been helpful to you, and yeah, smile, laugh, find find something that's funny. Find something that's gonna make you laugh, and just watch it. Let's go and, I don't know, go watch your favorite comedian or something. Something that's gonna make you laugh and give you get those endorphins off. Also, find out what gives you joy. because joy is something that can't be taken from you. Joy is something that resonates with you, that is deep down on the inside. Joy comes from within your soul. It's not like something happens external to you that makes you happy. Joy is that thing that, regardless of where I am in life, regardless of what's happening, I have joy, in knowing that I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. I have joy and knowing that God's grace and mercy follows me all the days of my life, is going to keep following me. That gives me joy, like I get joy knowing that I have a husband who loves me. Um, I get joy in the family that I have, that God has placed me in, both my physical family and my church family. Like I get joy in all of that, and so what gives you joy? I get joy. Of course, y'all know my grandbabies give me joy. They bring me joy all the time. They because they just in my soul, you know. Um, so I just, just think on those things that make you, that give you joy. And that's not to say that you're going to be happy and smiley all the time. You're not. But you will have a frame of reference that when you have those times where you feel low or you feel blue, you will have something in the bag that you can pull out that will give you just a little jolt. Even if it's a jolt just for a moment. And if you do that along the way, eventually, it'll jumpstart you and sustain you along the way. All right. So I am going to wrap it up with that. I'm happy to be back, and I'm glad that you are back with me. Thank you to those of you who reached out and was like, where are you? I'm still here. I just needed, I was just taking a couple of weeks off. I know the camera quality is not the greatest right now, so, and I'm sorry about that. But hopefully the message came through, regardless of the quality of the camera. And next week, I'm gonna have my computer back next week, so I'll have my, I'll have my tools that I need, that I usually use. Also, for those of you on Facebook, if you're on Instagram and you're not following me on Instagram, can you follow me on Instagram? Because I don't understand. Um, you got to have 1,000 followers to go live. Like, that is really nuts. But when you don't own a platform, that's the problem, right? When other people own the platform, they get to make those decisions. And so there we are. Anyway, anywho, I hope you're having a blessed night. I hope that you'll have a blessed rest of your week. And remember, you got to stand toe to toe to your mind when it's trying to bully you. Like, don't let your mind bully you. You have control. All right. So seize that control and let your mind know, hey, we're not doing this today. Not today, mind, not today. You might have to say that, right? Not today. No, we're not having it today. Today, we're going to think on things that are pure and positive, and things that are going to give us progress. That's what we're going to think on. And we're going to think on that tomorrow too. That's what we're going to do. So you just got to let your mind know what it's going to do. Like, listen, I'm not doing this with you today. All right. Y'all got that? I hope you got it. All right. Well, be blessed, and Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, because Lord knows the creek been rising. But guess what? I'm still standing. I can stand in the creek. It's not, the creek hasn't risen above my head. Okay. And so therefore, I'm all right. So, Lord willing, the creek don't rise. I'll see y'all next Monday. Have a blessed week. And yeah, stay safe. If you're vacationing, if you're I hope you're having a good summer. Be safe, and I love you all, and thank you for following and for listening and for commenting and all the things. And just be blessed and take care. Have a great night. Good night.